Hey class, Dr. Doug Brown here. It's Tuesday, MPA 604. It's our last week. I wanted to jump in, just take a moment to tell you how proud I am of you for all your hard work. It's been a while for some of you, and others have been in college for a while in your grad program. A little different course, a lot of material to learn, plus our writing and our APA. I know I spent a lot of time emphasizing that, but it's important at this level to be able to write well, to be able to share information, to be able to research it. As you get into your other classes, get ready to finish up, certainly will be important as well. So make sure you take a look at those resources I've given you. Hopefully they'll help you in the future. So our last week, here's what we got going on, guys. This week we just have two assignments, pretty good assignments. Last is our discussion post, and I say last, I want you to spend time focus on that paper. I want you to go back and look at those examples, those tips and announcements. Don't just put it together. I want the title page has got to be right. I want those headers right, the page numbers, check your grammar, Times New Roman 12 point font, references, everything's got to be right. The material has to be right. I really want to see a good paper from you. Again, on that final, we've spent 8 weeks together, so I scrutinize it a lot more. I scrutinize everything, but I try to really help you to prepare for the final. So make sure you follow that template that I gave you. Unfortunately, we can't revise and rewrite the final and resubmit it like we can the other papers, but I've given you enough examples, hopefully, and feedback and tips to help you on the final and to do well. And then our discussion this week is on regionalization, which is sort of almost a discussion of consolidation, if you will. Not necessarily the same. Of course, we can consolidate locally within one small geographic area, such as a city. And in some communities, my community is this way. We have different dispatch centers, lots of different agencies, and some of those have been consolidating, others have not. And this is more of a discussion about, regionalization, not just within the same city, the same county, but, perhaps 2 or more counties where we could combine fire service, EMS, dispatch centers, etc. And we do tend to focus on communication centers because that seems to be, something that's maybe easier to do and maybe less political, although it can be pretty political depending on the jurisdiction, than combining multiple fire departments into one. That's almost unheard of, but it has happened. I gave you an example in my post of Salt Lake County, Utah, where they created the Unified Fire Authority, and the laws had to be changed in the state to be able to do it. They did the same thing with law enforcement in the county. The sheriff's office used to run make all the police calls in Salt Lake County, and that's still except for the little small municipalities, which is a lot of money in that county. I lived there for a while. I went to junior high in Salt Lake County, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And so they regionalized fire and law enforcement. The sheriff no longer has that same authority that they had before. They took all those jurisdictions within the county, and in the case of the fire department in 2 counties, Utah County, parts of Utah County, south of them in parts of Salt Lake County, and they combined all those departments into one. And so each community has a representative there. They changed the retirement plan, and it created this fire authority, very different, from a fire district. Little similarities, but it's a little different under the law. And again, same thing with law enforcement. Sheriff's office maintains a jail, but the Salt Lake County Unified Police, those guys and gals, they run the law enforcement. They write the traffic tickets and do all those things. With Unified Fire, they even run emergency management. In the private sector in Salt Lake, it used to be a company was there forever. It was there when I was a kid, and certainly up until recently, which was Gold Cross Ambulance. And Gold Cross Ambulance was huge. It was a huge private company. Mormon, LDS owned, and they were just everywhere. And now, they may just be in Salt Lake. There's been lots of changes with those. So we've seen a regionalization of fire and EMS and even law enforcement. An example is Salt Lake County, Utah. So we can do it. It's been done. It's a possibility of doing it in other areas too. Okay, so just share your thoughts on that. Don't just focus on the 911 centers, although that's fine. Just think about regionalizing other services. Same thing has happened here with water. Where I live, each municipality had its own water department. In some cases, those were districts, which again, the law is a little bit different, crosses municipal boundaries when we have a district. And all those were consolidated into, we call it a company, and I guess it's ran like a company, but it's really just an authority, a public water utility, a public water authority, which is now CAW, Central Arkansas Water, which is a public authority. And so now all these cities combine and close down their water departments. Their employees went to work in most cases for Central Arkansas Water, which is again the public water utility now for all these multiple counties, multiple jurisdictions, and that was consolidated into one. And we've done that with some sewer departments in some cases, although it's been done on a smaller scale. It can be done. It just takes a lot of work to do it. And then again, there's a political, some political boundaries there that we have to consider as well. So anyway, I look forward to your paper. Look forward to seeing your discussions this week. You guys and gals have done a great job. I really, really do ask you, before you finish that paper and turn it in, I want you to take a breath, stop, go back and look at those examples I've given you, those resources, those tips. It is so important that you follow my examples and follow my tips with regard to the template, the layout, the headers, the material, everything, grammar, avoiding conjunctions, writing an academic paper. Don't just talk like you do at the firehouse or wherever you work, law enforcement. Use those tips so that you get it right and that you get the best grade possible. Again, we've been together 8 weeks. A lot of those things that we've talked about, we should be. So don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me if I scrutinize your paper just a bit more than I have in the past, and then you go back and look at your previous papers or discussions, and you say, well, he said the same thing for 6 weeks, and now I got the final and I got X grade on it. So don't be mad at me. I still like to teach. I'm still going to do that. Still not going to just focus on the grade. I'm still going to be doing some teaching, but it's important that you pay attention to this, because as you move forward, I've said it before, as you move forward in the program, it doesn't get any easier. We scrutinize the papers more. We want you to write well. We want you to know how to research. We want you to pay attention to detail. Close. We all worked, 2 jobs or whatever. I worked 2 jobs and raised 6 kids and took 22 hours of grad school. It's not easy, and I get it. So I want to help you, and I'm going to do the best I can to help you. But please take a look at those announcements. If you have any questions, I want you to call me. I want you to have a great week. I really am proud of you, and I hope I didn't scare you to death about the final. But just look at those tips. And if you need me, I want you to give me a call, and I'll do everything I can to try to help you. So have a great week. And for Christmas gifts, go down to the bookstore, call the bookstore. They got a little deal going right now. So I got my Anna Maria College shirt on. Go get something for your loved ones at AMC. Wear it around the firehouse. Get the chief mad at you so you can do some recruiting. Have a great week. See you later. Thanks for jumping in.